podcast. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Ryan Dunigan.
Well, I went out of my way to do something that I partially had this slight regret while I was sitting there. Like, you know, like that where you're kind of like, what the fuck am I doing in here? Like you just did something wrong. Like, almost like you just stole something from, like, the teacher or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he may be a bad guy, but I mean, like, he's not the worst guy in the world. I don't know what I went out of the way to do.
Did you, like, is Gwyneth Paltrow's head in your bag or something? What the fuck happened?
No, but it might be
Brad... it's like the end of 7
Brad
or something.
Pitt's name might be in my wallet.
Really?
That sounds kind of gay, actually. No, I want to saw World War Z.
Oh. Okay. You were probably expecting something way worse than that, right?
You mean you were expecting something way worse
No,
than that?
you're expecting me to come out like, what the fuck? And, like, flip it over. Like, we are done.
Well, no, I just felt bad myself because, like, I suppose one's like...
You said you weren't, and you did.
I wasn't going to see it. I don't like the newfangled zombie stuff. But then Cisco kind of gave me that one little insight where it's just like, you know what? Just including the zombie thing, the story isn't bad. And I'm like, oh, okay, well. And he's like, Brad Pitt's not bad. I'm like, well, it's kind of be expected, but... Which I will say, Brad Pitt probably is the best character I've ever seen in a zombie movie, though.
Okay.
The smartest character, like, in a sense. I mean, and he's not, like, full on, like, I'm here to kill and fuck. It's just more like, he's just smart about it. Like, he really actually doesn't even kill that many people.
That was the original tagline for Night of the Living Dead.
just the black guy here, I'm here to kill and fuck.
The one cool guy in that movie.
I know he's like the best character of this character.
Yeah, and he's like, fuck, why, of all the people who had to die, why'd the black guy have to die in Night of the Living Dead?
Well, the thing about me is it's like, okay, in the first one, that's one thing. I wished in the remake, though, he survived. I just don't...
They make the chick the badass in the remake, don't they?
Yeah, they fixed the chick, because in the original one's just like, I'm on the couch,
that's all she does the whole movie.
Yeah, she just does that the whole movie, just like, I was like, Jesus fucking Christ.
I understand you're in shock, but at the same time, do something. She had character before then, you know, but whatever.
Yeah, just like, whatever. What the fuck's that guy's name? I know her name's Barbara, but like her, what was her brother or her like something or her husband or God.
Bobby or Joe?
Yeah, Bobby like he's dead, Bobby's dead.
I want to say anything with a Y, maybe in Johnny.
Yeah, Billy.
Anyway, but World War Z though.
But okay, now the zombies, we already know the zombies. That trailer kind of shows it. Which really, that trailer, I'm not gonna lie, that shows all like those like fast, weird like flooding zombie scenes. Mm-hmm. When you watch the movie, that flooding zombie thing doesn't really like come up as much. Mm-hmm. And they actually are like. Apparently, when they're dormant, though, they're like regular slow zombies. Now, that doesn't really fix the problem, but...
What do you mean when they're dormant? Like when they're under...
When there's no... Say like there's just a bunch of zombies in a room, but there's no, like, humans or anything. They're just kind of walking around slow, going, you know, regular zombies. It's the second that they see, like, they see a human that, like, then they start, like, running. And really, I mean, just include the fact that, like, when they're climbing up each other up that wall, like, in the trailer and stuff. When they run, though, it's really not that much different than, 28 Days Later. It's really like that, just like cranked up like 1 or 2 more notches. Mm-hmm. And I'm not a big fan of running zombies, and it's unrealistic, and the whole point of like
the zombies are unrealistic in the first place.
It's like, what is the zombie survival guide explain? It explains all the rules. The zombie survival guide is literally something you should have passed out to every member who was in that movie making. Like, once you...
Even the CG zombies.
Mm-hmm. And the story itself, though, is kind of cool, and the one smart thing this thing does... At first, I was like, oh no, this is going to be like Tom Cruise's War of the Worlds. Where like his family's going to be stuck with him the whole time. Mm-hmm. No, they do the really smart thing. They cut the kids and the wife off, and they're like, no, you hang out on this boat. Brad Pitt's going to go on his mission. So that really was actually one of the smartest things I've ever seen. It's like, because that could have been terrible.
Yeah.
Because the kids were already kind of annoying in the beginning anyways. You're like, oh good, they're only in it for like 5 minutes in the beginning.
That's good.
And the wife was very kind of like that one, like you can't go. He's like... I'm selfish, you know, blah, 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 blah. It's like, honey, this shit affects everybody.
I'm waiting for the day, like, in a script, they just literally, like, blah, 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 blah.
You get it, right?
Because when you get to that part in the movies, you kind of are on autopilot by this, and like, don't leave, don't go, yada, yada. You really could just go, blah, 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 you know? It's like, oh, I know what's going on here.
Well, the part's kind of funny in the beginning where, like they go into, like, this, like, Mexican family's house, and they're, like, in Philadelphia or whatever. And stuff, and then like Brad Pitt's like, he's like, yo, I got a helicopter, you know, I work with the government, come on, like we're gonna go to like this aircraft carrier, and then like the mom and dad are like, no, it's like, well, whatever, we're leaving then. So they go, and then like it just kind of shows like there's like these zombies bust through the door. It cuts away, and there's like a little kid named like Billy or Bobby or something. You're a fucking little kid.
It's always in it a Y, and
you know, something like that. Or Jose or something. I don't know what it was. He's Mexican, but I want to say he had an American name. And then it's just like, they get to the top of the helicopter, then the kid's like, he just kind of shows up, he's not really even saying, like, yeah, my parents were idiots, they got killed by zombies. Can I be your adopted son, Brad? And later on, Brad's just like, he's
Jose Pitt.
He's like, okay, Jose Bobby.
Jose Bobby Pitt.
Jose Bobby Pitt. You're the man of the ship now, you watch my family. I barely know you, I've really only talked to you for about 10 minutes.
How old is a kid? Like, is he
8?
You're the man of the house now. Just like kneels down, puts both hands on the kid.
He literally does that now.
You're the man of the house. Honey, if I don't get back in 2 days, you fuck Jose Bobby Pitt.
You marry Jose Bobby Pitt. He's a good man.
Girls, this is Jose Bobby Pitt. He might be your new dad if I don't come back.
I know he's 2 years younger than you, honey, but that's okay. He's real smart.
All right.
His parents just died. He didn't even cry one tear.
That's a fucking man.
He could raise a house.
Okay, but anyway. So overall, the movie's decent.
So overall, okay, movies, it's okay.
All right.
It's not amazing, but it's not bad. And and the cool thing too is it does keep traveling. Like, it's like first they're in Philadelphia, then they're on an aircraft carrier, then they go to South Korea, then they go to like Jerusalem, which is actually kind of funny. The Jews are apparently the only people that like, they were prepared for this for some reason. Like
that was in the book. Okay.
Yeah.
Glad they have that.
And I think they have like a lot of these stories in the book because I only read the Zombie Survival Guide. I never ever got the World War Z yet.
Did they use weapons called lobos or lobotomizers? Like these shovel, like axe type things?
No, they didn't. I know what you're talking about because they're in the Zombie Survival Guide.
Yeah.
But so Jerusalem's like they're like after World War II we just said like anything's fucking possible. Nobody believed they could be in concentration camps. So second we hear zombies are breaking out in India, fucking huge wall.
Weren't they saying like everyone come over to Jerusalem? We got like shelter and all that, and they were even letting in like
they're letting in everybody, but they were like checking them.
Yeah, okay, that part's in the book.
But then the funniest part though, like they all start singing, and they're singing so loud that Brad Pitt's like, "Stop singing!" And the zombies are all climbing up the wall because the singing's so loud, so the zombies break in and kill everybody. All because of singing.
Musicals kill us, folks.
Exactly.
We don't
sing.
This is what Brad Pitt just should have stood around all these dead bodies. Like, this is why we don't like musicals in America.
I was just like busting up laughing there just because like the singing was too loud to hear. There's like a million zombies outside, like literally a million zombies. I mean, you think that would still overpower the singing? I know there's microphones and all, but come on. Mm-hmm. I mean, seriously.
Were they singing like there's peace and there's hope and all that kind of
shit?
shit?
Well, it was in like Hebrew.
Okay, well, so. I mean that's what I meant. Something around those lines. Yeah. Like they have like subtitles at the bottom, a little ball bouncing to like sing along to it.
We're not that far. But no, I mean, it's one of these, like, it's worth, like, if you see it, like, on TV, or somebody will let you borrow it, it's worth seeing. It's just not, like, it's not amazing, but it's still, like, it does something, I will say, though, at the same time, it does some things a little bit better that other zombie movies don't do, even though it's really not violent. It cuts away from, like, everything. There's almost no violence, but it does almost focus more on, like, the semi-dramatic part, more than, like, full-on, just, like, I guess, horror.
Okay.
Well, it's still, I mean, like, it's still kind of captures somewhat of like what the Zombie Survival Guide would probably have in World War Z, but it still kind of dumps it down a bit though.
To me, here's the thing about it, and so many people have been on my dick. Dude, you like zombie stuff, right? You got to see this movie. Now I'm like, no, because I mean I want to see the movie eventually. I want to see it like on Redbox or on TV or something like that, or if a friend gets it. That's when I want to see it. Because the thing is, they blatantly, I mean, it's a movie by itself. Is a movie by itself, this might be a good movie. I'm willing to accept that. This just may be a good movie. It wouldn't surprise me if it was good. The thing is, they're using the title of something, which it's clearly not that much of. Because the thing about World War Z is, it brings in all elements. And it's ultimately, would you say, I'm not trying to be cheesy here, but ultimately would you say the movie's kind of about humanity to a certain extent? I'm not trying to be cheesy, but that's generally what the book was. Because the book was saying, like, it kind of tackled on all aspects. I understand if they can't get certain things in there. Like, it went into, like, how celebrities ultimately became useless, and the people who were the most valued and important members of society were minimum wage job workers, like plumbers.
Yeah, those are the most important people.
Plumbers.
Well, that's the same thing. It's kind of like, because really all those, World War Z is just an expansion of the Zombie Survival Guide. Because, like, I think that's the reason I never jumped into it right away. Because I was like, oh, well, it's just more stories. Because World War or the Zombie Survival Guide explains like how to survive in like a zombie apocalypse, and then like it ends with about like a handful of stories. And I know that like the World War Z's like here's more stories.
Yeah, and it was what it was meant to be like Max Brooks going around interviewing people. So when I first heard this movie was coming out, I assumed it was just gonna be a series of short stories that were
they should have done like the Twilight Zone kind of thing. Just pick like the top 5 best stories from there and just kind of like. Maybe have them intertwined a little bit, because some people hate like...
And then when I heard it was about Brad Pitt going around trying to find a cure, I assumed what it was going to be about was going to be... They were just going to take different elements from the stories. It sounds like they did a little bit of that. But then the thing is, it may be a good movie. I just don't want to this stand thing. To me, it seems kind of like this is going to see people like, where the fuck are you going with this? But it seems like saying like, dude, the new Batman movie's out. What's it called? Man of Steel. It's like... those Batman and Superman are way different. Yeah, but they're both superheroes, and that seems kind of like that. It says, they're both zombie films, but they still, did they get in the whole, is there any part where like, I guess I'm picking 2 individual stories, probably not, but like, it seems very much like it'd be hard to tell these stories with these type of zombies, because you had people that are stranded way out in the snow, and just to kind of focus, some stories barely any zombie stuff, just like, yeah, we were standing out in the snow, and we were all friends, and we were all getting along, just this big camp of people. But eventually, people started to turn on each other. People got violent.
See, the thing is, they still have some they still carry some elements of that. Because there's a part where like Brad Pitt, he's going to like a shopping center, and just everybody thinks going like amok and stuff. And then there's like a part where like his wife's almost getting like raped by like these 2 biker guys, and like Brad Pitt just like ends up he's like I don't want any violence, and the guy pulls a gun, so he shoots the guy, and the other guy runs away. And then next thing you know, you see a cop run by, and he runs right past Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt kind of puts his hands up and just starts taking stuff. It's like doesn't even fucking care anymore.
Well, it took elements of that I can see.
So it has elements, but I will say it does. To me, it feels like it's a zombie story, really made for mom and pop in Oklahoma. That's really how it is, because it's like it's not very violent. So it's like, oh, okay, honey, there's no heads exploding, no like decapitations, no rape scene.
And plus the way they describe, tell me, I mean, this isn't really an important part. This won't make or break the movie. This should be a cool little fact if they got it in there. Mm-hmm. Did they blare like Judas Priest or Iron Maiden, any of the soldiers, before they went out shooting at the zombies?
No, they didn't really have too much soldier stuff in it. It was mostly like there's always kind of like soldiers with Brad Pitt, sort of like mercenaries, I guess you could say. But
because what happened is there'd be moments where they had like. Because it would join on all like forms of just how we would function in a zombie-filled world, which was production of materials survive, food, where people's status on the totem pole, where would they stand?
Yeah, it's the same thing as the Zombie Survival Guide. Like it does that same thing too. It really breaks down almost like every question you could possibly have is answered in those books.
Yeah, and like
you really kind of go out there. You're like, I really don't have any other questions.
It doesn't just stick to America. It goes to like Germany. It goes to like
Japan, Korea.
It goes everywhere. Yeah, there's a story about a kid like in Japan who was
Africa, India,
who was stranded up in his apartment complex. There's another story about a blind guy out in the woods in Japan. Like, I know that it's hard to get, like, those fighting off zombies by himself when he was blind. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things, like, I know you can't get that kind of stuff in there because that's probably deviating way too far away, but still, it's a cool concept. And it's just, the fact that it kind of seems like it took very little of the book and took the name of the book. Yeah, that's the reason I will say, I think it really just kind of wrote off the name of the book. It made it made the family-friendly zombie movie. Which I would like to see the movie at some point. I just don't want to pay money for it.
It's worth seeing. Yeah, that's the only thing is I kind of felt bad paying money for it. I had 1 free movie ticket, so it was partially okay. But that's kind of how it was. It's like it was really just made for like mom and pop in Oklahoma. They want a PG-13 zombie movie. People nowadays, I just don't think they can I think the main reason why they put running zombies in there is because producers are probably going, like, people don't want to watch slow zombies anymore. Slow zombies are, like, the olden days thing. This is the now.
Well, one of my favorite horror films was 28 Days Later. I'm cool with that. It's just in the particular source material, they're traditional zombies.
Is a good movie, but it's like, that movie's like one of those movies that's ruined zombies forever. It's like, that's the only downfall. It's like, almost with what comes great power must come great evil. So a great film also brings all part, like, because, excluding the George A. Romero movies, like, nothing else has been really slow zombies ever since then too much.
I mean, trying to roll out around George A. Romero.
And I'm trying to think, like,
you get some
Shaun of the Dead.
You get, which that Shaun of the Dead almost seems kind of like that almost just seems like what it could really be. I mean, maybe it's not, but it could almost be like, this is what was going on in England during that same exact apocalypse.
Yeah, exactly.
It almost feels like it could fit into that almost.
Well, Shaun of the Dead's one of the most well-made zombie movies, just for the fact that, like, I love what they do is they treat the zombies seriously, and then the characters themselves can just be funny.
Let me actually go back to Shaun of the Dead just for a second. Maybe up until, like, Dawn of the Dead, that can work. Because by the time you get to, like, Land of the Dead, then they're, like, you know, mankind's all, like...
No, I wasn't...
Land of the Dead, they're all, like, in walled-off cities. Because in Shaun of the Dead, at the end...
Yeah, but Survival of the Dead and Land of the Dead, they weren't running, were they?
What?
The zombies weren't running.
No, I'm talking about, like, because it could be almost in the same universe as Night of the Living Dead. But
yeah, Dawn of the Dead, yeah.
It shows in some way they solved the zombie problem by just integrating them into society in a weird way. Where in Land of the Dead, they're all, like, walled off and away from everybody. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, what more means is just like that, like, the fast-moving zombie thing. It seems like every single thing that comes out nowadays, gotta have fast-moving zombies, gotta have fast-moving zombies. It's just like we just can't have regular zombies.
You know, and even though I know you don't like the show, I saw the first season with the exception of one episode. I liked it. It wasn't blown away like everybody else, but Walking Dead, they still got the slow moving zombies.
Yeah, I will give them credit for at least like they have the slow moving zombies. I don't like the characters whatsoever, and that's like in my opinion the most important part of a zombie thing.
I like the cop. I like the main cop.
Yeah, he's fine. Well, really, if he was just by himself, it would be like a great story. But I don't like when they have like his.
The Asian guy's all right.
Yeah, the Asian guy's not. I mean, I'm not saying there's like bad characters, but there's enough characters I don't like.
You don't like the wife?
I don't like most of the characters in it. I like the black guy, even though like who has like the family. That was in the comic book. I don't because this was in the second book, but even in the comic book itself, it was like it was not bad, but it was still one of those ones like it still felt like it was still making the same zombie mistakes over again, where it's like. Okay, there's too many stupid characters. If one character is like not cooperating, like don't just get rid of him. It's a zombie. It's survival. It's not like society.
I never read the Walking Dead comics from point A to point B. I just read scattered issues, and I didn't see her in the show. But the black chick with the katana, I think she's really cool, and she keeps like a zombie on a chain. I like her.
Okay, she was not in the first two ones.
She's not in. I know she's not in the first season. I think she's in it by now because people talk about her.
Oh yeah. But yeah, that it's still one of those ones like really when it comes down to like the only like really good zombie movies I could say that I hold with high standards is Night of the Living Dead, the first one and the remake, Dawn of the Dead, only the original one, not the remake, Shaun of the Dead, 28 Days Later, the first Resident Evil maybe.
Zombieland's pretty good.
Zombieland's pretty. See, Zombieland. Okay, now that one has running zombies in it.
But they're not like, but they're still kind of like dead, like,
But I think they run at a more natural pace, and I know that movie's it's another one of those movies too. It's like I think you couldn't put slow zombies in because it's still at that time. That's why I love it. Like in that what's that Robin Williams movie? The
World's Greatest Dad.
World's Greatest. I love how he has like that conversation talking about like the running zombies are they're so stupid. It's, it's all about this.
Bobcat Goldwyn's a really underrated director and writer.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Bobcat Goldwyn or Goldwyn?
It's Goldwaith or something.
Goldwaith or yeah. That guy.
Yeah, that guy. But no, like I love that conversation that Robin Williams has in that movie, and it's just like just talking about like no, it's all about slow zombies. That's the real terror. It's and that's realistic, and that's the only thing. I will say this: World War Z. When you watch the zombies, it just feels very unrealistic. It's like to me, it's like I guess to me like sometimes unless it's like like Freddy or something, it's supposed to be kind of like
supernatural.
Yeah, supernatural. Zombies are supposed to be like a realistic thing, you know what I mean? And once you start treating it like it's a supernatural thing,
to
me it's not really scary anymore.
Well, I don't really feel zombies ever really felt all that realistic. I always just felt they're still science fiction /
Well, what I mean is like it's not like zombies like appear in your dreams. It's not like they can come back from
No, I get that. I mean, I see what you mean. I mean, to the point of where I guess they're making like a chain, kind of like a bunch of fire ants trying to get a helicopter or whatever. Like isn't that what they do? They climb on top of each other, grab a helicopter, and bring it down.
Well, what they do is like they just make them kind of like maniac like, where like they're just like they hop and then they jump and they just kind of like. They just make them like as primal as possible, where it's just like these things move really fast and they,
Well, I guess the thing about it is since they're like all CG, like 28 days later, you still felt kind of
because they're real people running.
They're real people running and screaming. They looked all scary. Like the part when Cillian Murphy, I believe his name is, walks in that church for the first time. There's all those dead bodies. He's like, "Hello!" Like 5 of them get up and just look at him. They just have their mouths wide open, their eyes wide open, just like, "What the fuck?" Because they didn't really show much of the zombies in the trailer to that movie, so...
No, because most just showed him walking around London.
One saying, hello! And like, at the very end, like, at the trailer, they just showed, like, the one zombie that was on the chain at the military facility just staring through the window. So, yeah.
And I think that's what I think. Yeah, that CG-ness of it makes it look really weird.
Yeah.
Really, when you straight enough, like once you get towards the end of the movie, then you start just having like the zombies that are a little bit slower and they're just regular people running. So it becomes a little bit better there. I think it's the CG zombies that really kind of like it just looks unrealistic, and it's like almost like, to me it's like,
would you call this more of a horror film or action film?
I wouldn't call it a horror film really, though it has horror elements, and I wouldn't call it it's sort of an action movie.
Disaster?
I guess it feels more like a disaster film. That's what it really feels like. Whereas it technically is a spin-off of an action film, but it's not. I wouldn't call it a horror movie. It's like a movie that has horror elements. Strangely enough, I know it's a zombie movie, but I wouldn't call it a horror movie.
Yeah. Okay.
And then even though it is action, it's more disaster work. Because like I always feel disaster movies a lot of times focus on the people a lot. Where like if it was an action movie, it'd be Planet Terror. There's another one I forgot to add to that list, but that's another good one. But that's almost like the action version.
Well, that's not like your those aren't labeled as standard zombies. They're labeled. I think Robert Rodriguez said they were labeled as freaks in that because they actually could still talk, sort of, and they just had like weird growths and shit like that. So they were zombie.
Well, yeah, because they came. They're zombie-ish.
And that's fine. If
but here's like the whole point. I guess like the whole point coming back to like, for other stories that's fine because like a lot of creatures like zombie-ish. Like 28 Days Later, it's zombie-ish. It's not actually zombies. Where World War Z and like Zombie Survival Guide, those are supposed to be zombies to like the core. Like it's a zombie as like you can get. You know.
Yeah.
That is supposed to be like the super definition. If zombies were realistic, this is how it would be, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the movie's kind of like, this is clearly, if there was really zombies in the world, this is clearly not what it would be.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sad.
Well, see it when it comes on Redbox or
it's worth watching.
I just don't want to put money into it.
You'll be slightly angry watching it kind of through, but not like pissed off angry, but just that kind of like I'm accepting it, yet it still bothers me, kind of angry.
It's one of the things I hear predominantly good things about it, but the thing is though, it just now I know that because while I'm reading World War Z. I mean, I read it after I found out a movie was being made. While I'm reading it, I'm like, oh, this would be a great movie. And now I know that movie's not going to get made, at least for a long time. It's not going to get made.
Yeah, I mean, maybe like, you know, even though remakes happen quicker than you think nowadays, maybe in 10 plus years they can make the real World War Z movie.
Just call it Zombie Survival Guide or something.
Yeah,
right? That sounds like a comedy, but still.
So, yeah, that sounds weird when it's like not a book. When you call a movie a guide,
I don't know. You can call it something. Battle of Yonkers or something. That's the name of a big bat. Do they have the Battle of Yonkers in that?
No, I don't think so. I mean, the movie's only an hour and 45 minutes, too. So
I know there's not a lot they can fit in. I know there's only so much you can fit in there. I'm not docking it for that. I just thought they would have taken probably the best moments from the book and little, like, nods to other stories and thrown them in the one, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, but, yeah, not a real zombie movie, let's just say
They had the big wall in Israel. That's cool. No, they have that, but whatever.
But, yeah. Well, I started playing Red Dead Redemption again.
You did?
Uh-huh. That's kind of like zombies, just a sequel.
I'm glad someone's been doing something. All I've really been doing is just working on the new Drunk Batman, a little bit of Grit issue 3, getting a start on that, and then this other project. And then aside from that, just my night job and just doing yard work. So
Red Dead Redemption, the nice about that game is most kind of games, it's really easy just to pick up, play a couple missions, and then sit down. It doesn't have like, okay, if I leave off here, I'm going to be screwed. Because
it's not like leaving a dungeon in the middle of Zelda.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you could literally come back to that game. Like, I just came back to a file that was already, like, you know, a couple hours into it, and I was just like, it doesn't make a difference. You just go to the next checkpoint.
I love that game.
That game is a really good game, though. I mean, could it be better? Yeah, I think the only reason I always think about those games is, like, they could be a little bit better just because of the fact that, like, San Andreas gave us so much, and then they felt like they took it away, like a lot of those like elements away in Grand Theft Auto 4 and Red Dead Redemption.
I think the thing about San Andreas, something that I heard people complain about, and I'll be honest, I only played a little bit of San Andreas. I think you reach that point, sometimes it's going to sound kind of stupid, but you can reach that point of too much customability.
And I'm not really talking about the custom stuff as much. I
mean more to the degree of kind of like your character has to eat every so often.
Yeah, I'm not talking about those things really though. Those aren't the elements I'm talking about. That you kind of that stuff's fine to forget. And I don't think that's people aren't going like, why the fuck can I eat anymore?
Yeah.
No, it's more like the thing is just like I loved how in Grand Theft Auto, like, and this was in Vice City and San Andreas, like you could buy places and you could almost like run those like businesses. And it's like, how cool would it be in like Red Dead Redemption that you could like buy businesses and run them?
I don't know if John Marston would have come home. It's kind of like, someday John's gonna come home.
That's the only downfall that could also Red Dead Redemption 2 is since the game, even though it's very like, it's a sense it's a very linear game, which sounds weird because it's like the sandbox style, but for the fact that like story-wise,
it pushes you to be a good guy.
Yeah, it pushes you to be John Marston. Where in like kind of like let's say Grand Theft Auto 3, it's more like this guy can be whoever you want him to be. Yeah, you know, he's the Italian version of you.
I don't think Tony. What's the bad guy? What's the main character of the second one? Tony.
The second Grand Theft Auto?
Yeah, Vice City.
Vice City. Tommy Vercetti.
Tommy Vercetti. Yeah, I don't think Tony or Tommy.
I think it's Tommy Vercetti.
Tommy Vercetti.
I think Tony's the guy in the third one.
Yeah, Tommy. I don't see him going around just killing people left and right, but I don't really see him losing a lot of sleep over it either way.
Exactly, that's what I look at.
So, but we're John Marston.
We're John Marston. You feel kind of bad if you accidentally I accidentally shot that guy's horse. I feel bad.
If I do, if I accidentally kill a bystander.
But it's just one of the ones. As far as a game though, I just wish you could it'd be kind of cool if you could buy you could buy this one gambling area. So now you can go by there and collect a profit every single time. You know, go and then you could it sounds weird, but you buy this whorehouse and you go there and collect your profits, and you could buy this gold mine. You could go by there and collect your profits.
Maybe they'll have that for the next one because I could just see it being kind of like John comes home honey, what took you so long? It's just oh yeah, well you see, hon, I was out there
I'm in the money.
Comes back with a top hat, a monocle.
This little Monopoly guy.
Could have come back a long time ago. I already paid off all my debts to the government. I don't know why he's talking like a 1930s guy, but...
By this point, it's 1930s. I can talk like a 1930s guy.
He didn't die that heroic but tragic death. He just became a rich, fucking asshole. Next one, he plays the son trying to get revenge on the dad or something.
But I mean, other than those little elements like that, though, as far as just straight up story and all that stuff, though, that game is great, though. Mm-hmm. It just was real fun, real good. I mean, you do notice things something one thing that always bothers me with this kind of game is let's walk really slowly on our horses to the destination.
Yeah.
Those things like that, just when you kind of get older, you're dude, come on.
They want to really push.
Can't we run as fast as our horses possibly can to get there?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was getting. I call things that's really let's extend the gameplay hours by making you just kind of
where you have to ride next to the marshal and talk about you gotta beat your boy if he disrespects y'all. You
slap him upside the head. He does it again. You beat the shit out of him.
Just like my dad did. So it's the skinny and the fat guy riding behind you.
Yeah.
Tweedledee and Tweedledum of the game.
It really is.
Yeah.
But other than that, though, that game is just a really good game.
Then you get Seth. You get Seth and
It's
Irish.
The crazy, Seth and Irish. Really, just a bunch of, fucked up people, and John Marston's the only, reasonable guy, mostly.
Yeah, because they talk about, he was a bad man. It's compared to everybody else, this guy's a fucking saint.
Exactly. And speaking of Westerns, finally, after watching Wyatt Earp last time, I was I gotta go watch Tombstone again. It's been a while. Mm-hmm. And really, after watching Wyatt Earp, though, Tombstone, it's still a really good movie, though, but that is totally the Hollywood version of Wyatt Earp. Even though that one actually did come first, though. I figured that out, too. So Wyatt Earp... somebody said, Kevin Costner must have been sitting back and this isn't the Wyatt Earp that I know.
I haven't seen Wyatt Earp still. I gotta watch that, but I guess they do have that kind of total, thing they had in a lot of 90s movies. They just have, we could show in detail what happened. We're just gonna show a montage of them just busting in everybody.
Well, then with that one, it kind of has, all those, you notice it kind of later on, kind of those Hollywood elements, they make Wyatt Earp almost the man who can, he's just a real good guy. When the other one's Wyatt Earp, he's just more of an average guy. It's yeah, he did, some bad things, but that's just kind of who he was.
He was Wyatt.
Because they kind of make it out like the wife that he kind of brings into town at first or whatever. It's they don't, in Tombstone they don't even mention that she was a whore. It's just she's just a woman.
Really?
Yeah, and she's she's a whore. And there's even a part at the beginning where it's just Wyatt Earp doesn't even hurt animals. There's a guy beating even though it's kind of funny, the guy's beating this horse with a whip. And then, Kurt Russell just grabs it and just starts beating the guy in the face. How do you like it? But it's just kind of those kind of things like that.
Well, I remember there's one thing. Maybe I missed the detail, but there's the part when it just seemed so kind of melodramatic and misplaced out of nowhere. Even though I like Tombstone. There's a part where he's just so he's talking to his wife. It's when they first get there and just show him that things are going to work out between the two of them. He's so, what do you want to do? He's I think I'm going to go to... He's I think I'm going to go to the bar. She's fine, just go. Just go. And they play kind of faintly dramatic music, and he just go ahead, just go to your bar. I'm just going to the fucking bar to get a drink. That's all I'm doing. Was there a detail I missed or something?
There's more details. In the other one, there's a lot more details because
he used to be an alcoholic.
Oh well, yeah, he was an alcoholic at first. Because the whole point is after his first wife dies, Wyatt Earp, he went on a year drinking binge where he became a horrible person and pretty much just stole from people. He didn't kill, but he stole, and then he got arrested for horse stealing in Arkansas. And then his dad came by and busted him out, and then told him like, "Get the fuck out of here, boy! You go out west, boy. That's where you belong."
I need to see that movie.
Yeah, Gene Hackman doing it too, so it makes it like awesome. But no, like it's just like I guess because like the one thing about the Wyatt Earp movie, it's got way more like the drama.
But you know what I mean? On
it feels
Tombstone,
a lot
like,
more
it just
realistic.
felt very melodramatic in Tombstone. Just out of nowhere, the chick's just like, just go, just.
Well, and in Tombstone too, it's like that chick really just kind of like whatever. Like there's no kind of like real like she kind of like complains a little bit, but like he just more just sees like, well, I'm just going with this other chick right now. But like they never really show like this like like real big conflict. Where in the other one she's just like, you're going with that fucking Jew whore. What is wrong with you, Wyatt? Like all this stuff. And then she's drinking like the Lyle or whatever that stuff's called. Like she doesn't drink it like the second she gets off the fucking train. Like she's just kind of like, I just drink this on the side. And it's like, no, he finds her like, what the fuck are you doing drinking this stuff? Who sold this to you? Kind of thing.
That was in Wyatt Earp?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
And just like, I guess it's just kind of like other, like, I don't know, it's just like one's Tombstone's still a good movie, but it's almost kind of like...
It is the Hollywood version.
Yeah, it's the very kind of like the Hollywood version. It's...
A lot of times you talk to people who don't
It's got
really
violence, but it's just kind of like, it's missing out on kind of like all like, the dark stuff, I guess you could say. That
yeah.
Doesn't seem that dark, but I guess...
There's the part when Sam Elliott almost gets killed and the other guy gets killed. And it's just, even though I love Kurt Russell, he's a great actor, but that part just kind of awkward. He's walking through the rain. Whoa! He's just covered in blood. Whoa! He like walks up to someone else. Like I think he walks up to his first wife. He's like, whoa! He walks the other direction, still doing it. The music picks up again. Just got blood on it, just blood all over him.
Well, like in this one too, it's like the guy, like the brother that gets shot, like in Wyatt Earp. He has to get shipped out there. It's like, he ends up dying and everything like this. Where this one's just kind of like, oh, they make it out like he lasted a lot longer than that. He didn't just kind of like die after that like wound.
Sam Elliott?
Yeah.
He actually died?
Wait, was Sam Elliott the one that died?
One got killed.
No, it was the other guy. The other guy died. Sam Elliott just got shot.
One got killed. Sam Elliott got shot, and he's like, fuck this shit. And that's what happened.
Yeah.
Which is all people who say fuck this shit, you don't expect Sam Elliott.
Yeah, I know. He's like he gets like the one F-bomb in the movie. Yeah. There's a lot more F-bombs, I guess, in the other one.
I don't know if he actually does say fuck that shit, but does he actually?
Oh, I think he says fuck in the movie, though.
Okay, maybe he does.
I could have swore Sam Elliott says that.
A lot of people, I'm not sure if I already said this, but a lot of people who don't like Westerns like Tombstone, I noticed.
Well, I know, yeah, as I say, as I've heard a lot of people go say Tombstone, it's one of those, it's good. It's very good. I just don't think it's like, it's not nearly, it's just like, it's kind of like Young Guns 1, like, yeah, there's a very good movie. Should you base it off your history class Billy the Kid story? No.
Young Guns 2, you should not base that historically either, but it's Young Guns 2 is a great movie.
Well, Young Guns 2 is fucking amazing. And the thing about Tombstone 2 is, like, the cool thing, too, is, like, it has, like, towards the end, just, like, we're gonna go get all these guys. And they also make the gang out to be, like, really big in the end. Like, this is a full-fledged, like, it's almost like the pre-mobster gigs. And, they got the red sash and stuff. Where the other one's like, okay, it's a gang.
It's like 5 guys.
Yeah, it's literally, like, 6, like, assholes that kind of...
And there's the one guy...
There's more than that. There's more, probably, like, 15. But...
Everybody in that gang, and I'm always going off the Tombstone here. Everybody in that gang is all scary, except there's the fat short. There's always the fat dumb short guy in every like mid '80s to early '90s movie that's kind of there. He's kind of
Billy Bob Thornton.
Was that Billy the short fat guy? He's all like he was the cowardly one of the group.
No, actually, I don't think that is.
He was the cowardly one of the group. He's all like, you ain't gonna do nothing. He points a gun. I'm like, oh, don't shoot me. He was there for a while, In
the beginning?
He would act like a badass, but the second someone drew a gun on him, he would just be a pussy.
Okay, yeah.
That may have been him at the beginning. It may have been him. Because
the one Billy...
Different guy.
The guy that's Billy Bob Thornton is the guy, it's like the very beginning. He's like dealing cards in that bar or whatever, and Kurt Russell's like, that guy shouldn't be in here. And he just goes over there and just starts slapping the shit out of him.
The guy runs up behind him with a gun. He's just like Val Kilmer pops up, like, you don't want to go do that. I don't know why he talks like Matthew McConaughey, but... hey.
Matthew McConaughey kind of has... He would probably have played a good
That's what I like about these saloon girls. I get older, they stay the same age. Yes, they do.
I get close to death, they still live.
Yeah. There is that one. That is kind of sad when Val Kilmer...
I will say Val Kilmer does a pretty good job in that one.
I'll be honest. I think Val Kilmer, I don't think he's that great of an actor. I think he's a really good actor when he's playing kind of people that are strung out. Or like Jim Morrison, like Doc Holliday.
He does a really good job. It's like Doc Holliday, it's like... I will say it's probably one of his best acting his performances in that movie.
Real genius. These are the movies I think he does a really good job at. It's the second because Bruce Wayne, when he played Bruce Wayne, it was just kind of like,
whoa,
I'm Bruce Wayne and I'm really rich. Looks to the side, I think. He did look kind of confused that whole movie.
He felt like it's like those ones I like Val Kilmer a lot too. But he felt it was like Jim Morrison Batman.
I felt kind of like Joel Schumacher was standing behind the camera with cue cards, flipping them, and he's kind of reading the lines almost. Grant's a better job than what I can do. I'll fully admit right now, but still, I just like my Batman totally sober. Like him aware.
Yeah, I know. And then, it's like in the Wyatt
hand gestures were necessary.
You got Dennis Quaid that plays the Doc Holliday character. And apparently Dennis Quaid lost 40 pounds to play
Dennis
that part.
Quaid played Doc Holliday?
Yeah, Dennis Quaid, not Randy Quaid.
I know. I know.
Okay.
I just didn't know that. I know. Randy Quaid playing Doc Holliday, that'd be awesome, though.
Well, that's like both those movies have humongous cast, too. Because, not only the main characters in Tombstone, but it's also got Michael Beale from, the guy who plays Kyle Reese in Terminator. Mm-hmm. It's got,
We always get him mixed up with Bill Paxton, I think, don't we?
Yeah. Because Bill Paxton is in the movie too,
and
though.
Bill Pullman.
And Bill Pullman's in the other one.
Who's Bill Pullman in the other one?
He's not a character that's in Tombstone. He's a character that's before Tombstone, kind of. Uh-huh. And in Dodge City, pretty much he works with Wyatt Earp there. Okay. And then Wyatt Earp leaves it to Bill Pullman, and then Bill Pullman gets killed because he's too nice of a guy.
Oh, okay.
There's a part too where
he seems too nice.
Where Bill Pullman's got a gun. He's like, okay, now you guys, just take your guns off. You can go walk out there. And then Kevin Costner just runs by and just beats the fucking shit out of the guys in the back of the head. It's like, you can't be that nice with these guys. It's like these guys are probably dead. In real life, these guys probably have brain damage now, the max.
So come on, they're just boys. They're having fun.
Yeah, they're just having Bill Pullman. President Bill Pullman.
President Bill Pullman's coming back in Terminator. It's weird, not Terminator.
There's Terminator 5 is going to be coming out, though, with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, Independence Day is coming out also. And Independence Day 2.
Is Bill Pullman still president?
I don't know. You could be president. Badass. You could see, yeah, I saved the world. What the fuck are you going to do about it? Re-election forever, bitch.
Yeah.
So, I'm King Bill Pullman.
He's beyond President Bill Pullman. He's Bill Pullman, Emperor of the World now.
Yeah, when you save the president, because when the president actually gets in the spaceship with Will Smith and flies up, which here's the thing, everybody but Will Smith is
No, he's not in the spaceship. He's in the...
Oh, he's not in the spaceship.
He's a fighter pilot.
He's a fighter pilot. That's right. What's his name? Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum flies up. And he's got that same line from Jurassic Park. Must go fast. Must go faster.
Will Smith is not going to be in the next one, though.
Oh, that's kind of sad.
Well, I guess it's look, we just can't afford him. We're just bringing.
That's right, true. It's well, you're expensive.
It's well, what happened?
It's not me, it's you.
They could say, what happened to that guy that saved the world? He married a hooker. What do you think happened?
Yeah, where do you think that life was?
Or a stripper,
He went to go live in South America. God knows what happened from that point on.
So then, I guess that we'll see what happens with that one. I don't really care for Independence Day 1, but we'll see where this one goes. And then you were talking Terminator 5.
Yeah, there's a Terminator 5 thing. I saw that on, there's a sweet site called, ArnoldFans.com.
Which I heard this one's actually going to take place in the 40s, and it's going to be, they're trying to kill, Sarah Connor's her grandparents or her parents, and it just, to me, that just sounds kind of why don't we just go back to the future and just focus on...
Well, the one thing that's when I was a kid watching Terminator 1 and 2, when I was a kid, though, my favorite parts were in the future, and that's only about, 5 to 10 minutes between both those movies, almost.
Yeah.
There really isn't that much future scenes in there.
No, there isn't.
And so, really, to me, I guess when Terminator 4 came out, I thought one of the coolest parts about that's, they finally show us that future part, but that's the entire movie. Mm-hmm. So I wish they would just kind of continue on with that stuff.
They're considering it's just a fucking dumb producer thing.
To me, I understand why Terminator 1 and 2 kind of take place back in time, because just back in the day, it's okay, whatever, Especially the first one, because it's a lower budget movie. It makes sense. You're not going to shoot all this future stuff, or else you'd never be able to make a movie.
Just have Christian Bale back in it. He wasn't my first choice for John Connor, but he's already there. So just stick with one John Connor. Don't have it be a different John Connor every movie.
It's been a different John Connor every single time. I guess by this point, it seems like it's almost like 007 if you only played it once.
Every John Connor is the George Lazenby of Terminator franchise.
As in being just a single man.
Yeah.
Single man.
And that one.
Yeah. They all do a good job, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They really should have just got Edward Furlong. He aged perfectly for those movies, how they came out.
He was the original. Number
2, yeah.
He got hooked on drugs, and the guy in number 3 got hooked on drugs, and yeah.
Christian Bale got hooked on
anger.
Yelling.
Well, he said he's doing whatever he can to make people forget about that. He's going to if there's a dying kid who likes Batman, he is going to go to that hospital and be Batman for that kid. He's doing whatever.
What if he was doing it all the wrong ways? Like it's fucking midnight. Fucking he's standing there on like the ledge, like, hey Johnny, like, he has a fucking heart attack.
Just like next to
the scariest thing ever for like a child is just fucking Batman peering in on them.
Just like hunched over like the edge of the bed like a gargoyle. And he's doing his like full on spiel. Hey Johnny! Oh, what the fuck?
Kid just fucking like.
The nurse comes in, just sees Christian Bale like, I was being nice.
Whoa! Yeah. He just gets all primal.
Takes the little cane thing from like Dark Knight Rises and slides down, like out the window.
But Terminator 5.
Yeah,
that will still be.
Arnold's gonna be back in it. Wanna who they were saying? I don't know.
He's also gonna have a starring role in Expendables 3.
That's good. It was good to see he was back in Expendables 2 and actually have a more important part.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she didn't need to be the star of the movie. In Expendables 1, I knew he was just going to walk in and walk off. I figured that.
Yeah, I was like, I knew that kind of from the get-go.
And I knew that for, like, Bruce Willis, too, because I didn't see Bruce Willis firing a gun at any point in the trailer. I'm like, he's just there for the sake of being there. So I think that's what a lot of people were hoping. And then in Expendables 2, we got all that, so.
Yeah, they kind of came around like, here you go. Now they're all firing guns.
Mm-hmm.
What you wanted.
Which I was a little sad we lost Jet Li. Maybe Jet Li will be back in the next one.
Well, it's like, at least, I like that, like, they put Jet Li in there. Even though he's only in the movie for like 15 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever, that first action scene, I like how they at least put him in there instead of just saying like the Mickey Rourke character, like nobody even fucking mentions it.
I'm not sure if we said this in the podcast, but it was said, apparently it's rumored in the original script, he got killed, the Mickey Rourke character got murdered, and then his daughter came in, which if you look back on Expendables 2, there was that young guy that everybody was warming up to that gets killed. And then there's that Asian chick that comes in. You could just do a little bit of rewriting. That could have been Mickey Rourke and his daughter.
Yeah. So I hope since they didn't do that, though, that maybe they can bring Mickey Rourke back in the family.
Look, we gotta bring in some of the teen girls, and let's face it, Mickey Rourke ain't gonna do that. So here's this pretty boy
25 years ago, but
here's this pretty boy from Hunger Games. Throw him in there.
Yeah. That's the one thing that's like, yeah, it's like one of those ones like you're really just attracting like men with like Expendables, like most time, you know, you get the women that like men, but
there wasn't very many young people whenever we went to go see these movies. They were always kind of
because you meet a lot of young people and they don't care too much for like
80s
Arnold
action
and Stallone
films,
and there's just a lot of young people out there. I think they just like despise like elderly.
The despise the elderly. I think a lot of people just don't care for 80s action films and don't like the whole like because like I mean.
Well, I think it's those genres. If you don't grow up with it, and you don't, it's kind of like you can't just jump into it.
Yeah.
And a lot of these kids grew up with like modern action movies, which are like kind of like that, like very like we have to try to take this as serious as possible, and in the process make it not almost nearly as interesting, but.
Well, it can work out.
Works for some of them. Or unless you get like those like late 90s, early 2000s ones where it's always like Jet Li and a rapper.
Those ones are just funny.
I still love
I know
those
how
ones.
cheesy they are. I know how cheesy they are, but like whatchamacallit, I like
Cradle to
Romeo
the Grave.
Must Die. Actually, I'll say this. I actually think Romeo Must Die is a fun movie. Cradle to the Grave.
I actually like Cradle to the Grave actually more.
I thought,
but I like all those ones still though.
Cradle to the Grave. I might need to watch it again. Because I haven't seen that since high school, but there was that part that was almost a little too cheesy because they had that moment with, of course, at some point, Jet Li goes to some underground like UFC cage fighting
and
match.
Fights, they're 12 guys or something like that.
And they're like playing like Saliva, click, click, boom, whatever during that whole battle. It was something like that. I don't know.
They always have that kind of music like that, but they always have like the rap. It's like just like. I never really knew where this is like. Sometimes like I'll hear one of those songs, but like, oh, dude, it's from that movie. It's like it's my only place I know where the song came from.
And there's the part where DMX sees the quad. He gets the quad, right? And the one guy's like, "Hey man, that guy stole my quad." He gets onto his like bike. He's chasing through the city.
He's like, "Oh look, there's a can of Mountain Dew and some chips."
Yeah.
Speaking of Mountain Dew, the other day they had it was a BMX tournament. And it was literally like the what was it called? It's called like the Dew Sport or something.
Dew Sport?
I can't remember what it's called. It was literally.
That's shockingly kind of like.
It was Mountain Dew's like pretty much X Games but BMX tournament thing. It was just like I'm like I just gotta see what this is. It's just like everything's so Mountain Dew. It's just like, oh my god, it's just like
everything's green
it's
and
just
red.
a giant Mountain Dew commercial, really.
That sounds like some like God music. One Mountain Dew. Yeah.
I just was like, dude, all Mountain Dew, just like all energy drinks, you know, like it's like get the new Kickstart by Mountain Dew.
Yeah. No, everybody who's in this great shape, they're gonna have like, can I just get a glass of water? Here's a Kickstart, man. It's just like, what about? Can I have an amp? You know, it's just like
Code Red.
Yeah. Everybody's
Here's
like,
a Pitch Black too. It's 8 years old, but still good. Mountain Dew doesn't go bad.
It
doubles as radiator coolant.
Here's the Revenge of the Sith Mountain Dew Dark Slurpee. Remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that one because I still have the cups to it.
Yeah. The head was the cap was a Darth Vader head.
I still got the cap to that too. I also got the Iron Man one too, where it's like Iron Man's like face looking at you like.
I remember that.
It's kind of creepy actually. You're like drinking, you're like, why is he just like
staring at you?
It looks like he's inside of a barrel and he's just kind of like poking his eyes up and looking over.
You just look down and the eyes just sink down, kind of like, oh, he knows.
He sees me.
Just like who's ever like in that tournament just has diabetes by the end of it's like what 2 days is it?
Yeah, something like that.
2 days, yeah. I'm guessing it's probably 2 days. That's how long those sporting events usually last. It seems.
This one was like 5 hours because it was just like BMX. It was just and it was in like Maryland, like on like the beach, which it looks pretty nice. I was like, oh, look at that beach. It looks kind of like Santa Cruz, but
no,
Maryland.
It's Maryland. What about that? Well, no, that just seems kind of like I shouldn't be too surprised because I know that's what they're always aiming at. If you ever look at a like ad for Mountain Dew, it's always either some movie coming out, Dark Knight Rises being one of them, or just a guy on a snowboard looking down like, what's up, brah? Or like someone on like a mountain bike or
he's
whatever.
on a mountain bike, or he's on like, you know, a skateboard or a BMX bike or a surfboard.
Which I'll be honest, I had Mountain Dew like at my other job like a few days ago. I got so many flashbacks to the 7th grade.
Just like it was like it's like, you know, like older people would say like, oh, that like when I cracked my back the other day, I had all these like acid flashbacks to the 60s. You drink a can of Mountain Dew, it's just like, whoa.
This green, there's like this shades of green tie dye. I just start behind my head. I just like my eyes turn green. I see like
everything's just become more multicolored. Yeah,
Dreamcast,
Sega Saturn. Super Nintendo.
Jet Li in the one. You know? A few Dragon Balls go by.
Yeah. Like, whoa.
It was a total, like, acid trip flashback right there.
And then you just kind of, you come off of it and stuff, and you're like, oh, I'm really thirsty now. That was a lot of sugar. My heart's racing.
Well, I got diabetes.
I was watching Justice League Unlimited. You know what's a really fucking weird episode? Is that one where like they become like the Justice Babies?
Yeah, that was kind of weird. Overall, I think it's a great show. That one is a little weird.
Well, it's like, okay, I've seen that in the X-Men before, because like Mojo turns the X-Men to like the X-Babies. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of one you're sitting there like reading this comic book, and you almost look over your shoulder like, really? Really?
Plus, you're also looking to make sure no one's watching you and judging you at the same time.
Yeah, that you're watching fucking X-Babies.
Which, I mean, you know...
Well, just one it's like... I mean, this is, like, the X-Babies thing was, like, in the late 80s. Mm-hmm. Late fucking 80s. Who the hell is the X-Babies appealing to?
I think maybe it was just meant to be, like, irony.
Well, I think it's supposed to be kind of like, it's supposed to be like, it's funny. If you have kids.
Well, I guess the whole thing with, because Justice League Unlimited is a really great show.
Well, that show, like, not that the episode was bad, it was just, like, it's just kind of fucking weird. I feel weird watching, like... Batman whose head's like the size of his torso.
Well, it's one of those things like, you know, when you're a kid, every once in a while you try and show like your parents a show. Like, see, it's not so bad.
See, this is where like you do like, come on, Dad, Justice League Unlimited, you're gonna like it.
I mean, I was already past that age.
Justice babies.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's kind of like it's by the time Justice.
I knew you would never grow that Rugrats show.
that show came out by the time I was old enough. I was past that age by the time that show came out. That show came out when I was in high school. But if I did watch that show in middle school or freshman year, not for middle school, freshman year, middle school or like elementary school, I would say like, all right, just watch this one episode. I promise it's gonna be good. It's always good. You know, you hope for an episode like Blast from the Past or the one where it's like Superman gets the Black Mercy on him and has that really like fucked up kind of like You said
the Alan Moore episode.
Alan Moore episode, yeah, where he wishes he sees everything he wants, realizes it's just a dream. And like what Mongol comes in. Mongol's the main bad guy.
Yeah, Mongol's the main bad guy.
Yeah,
that has like one of the funniest lines where he says the one where he's like, I guess the women on this planet are the stupid ones, something like that.
That's what Mongol says.
He says the Wonder Woman.
Yeah, that sounds like Mongol. But anyway, I remember just but it wouldn't be that episode. It would always be like, oh, chances are it would have been like the Justice League Babies episode if you ever try to show your parents an episode of something.
It's like one of those ones. Like, most of the stuff's all very adult oriented.
And that was just the one episode. I mean, there are some comedy episodes in there, and the comedy episodes do work. That actually has more comedy into the other stuff, but it works most of the time. That's just one where just like, oh, this is kind of looking around over your shoulder, making sure no one's watching.
Well, it's one of those ones. Just like I just feel I don't know what it is about it, but it's like I just feel weird watching. It's like think Justice Babies. And they're called babies, yet they're really like 10 years old. But and then that kid's like, oh, I'm English and evil.
He's all old and like decrepit by the end of the episode.
Yeah, it's just kind of like
I don't remember it so much. I only watched the episode once for a reason.
Well, it feels like you're just gonna watch it once. You're like, oh, okay.
I saw it.
You know,
Dakota Fanning voiced Wonder Woman apparently.
Did she?
They always actually Just League Unlimited. They'd always bring on like a couple of like not sometimes big. Dakota Fanning, I guess, sort of big, but a couple celebrities. They had like Fred Savage.
I saw that on like one of the episodes.
Fred Savage there's the Hawk and Dove episode. I believe.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I believe he was Hawk, or I believe he was Dove actually. I think he may have been Dove.
Yeah, I think that's who. I did see that one when I was like that.
Nathan Fillion, he voiced Vigilante.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he voiced Vigilante.
Well, he does Green Lantern's voice a lot in the movies.
He does his voice in the movies. Well, this one you got Jon Stewart instead of Hal Jordan. So.
Oh yeah, you don't have Hal Jordan.
So and then they also had who's another one they had? They had a lot of people come and go on that show, just like with the cameos.
Well, I watched that Justice
I think Malcolm McDowell had to be on there at some point.
Probably. Well, I watched that. Speaking of like Nathan Fillion, I watched that Justice League Doom movie again too.
That one's good.
That is a pretty good one. Mm-hmm.
That's one of the more simpler, more of like explosion fest movies, but it's still a good flick. It's not my favorite, but it's good.
No, yeah, it's one of those. It's not like it's like one of those like. I almost kind of like the ones that are just like they pick one character and go with it, sort of like. I feel like when you get Justice League, you always just kind of get like it's more like the action fest when it comes to those movies.
Which is kind of what you want to.
I mean, it makes sense because like, why else did all these guys get together?
Yeah,
they didn't get together for tea time.
No. Well, I think Justice League, I just want to go back to Unlimited just for a second. I think a smart thing about that show is what it predominantly does is, it'll say, okay, here's one or two characters from the original Justice League. Focus on them.
And then throw in, like, characters you would never expect, almost.
One or two B characters.
And even C characters sometimes, too.
C characters, like, Booster Gold. His episode was actually pretty good. There's an episode that just... Did you get to that one yet?
No, I haven't got that one.
It solely focuses on Booster Gold, and it rips on Booster Gold, but at the same time, at the end, he kind of comes around.
Huh. That's
so,
cool.
And it's kind of funny, like, all right, you're doing crowd control. It's just like, wait, I'm doing crowd control? Yeah, so he's kind of like, the bottom of the barrel. So it's, well, Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman are all fighting, like, some evil, like, great power. He just,
Booster Gold.
Yeah. And some people are like, thank you, Green Lantern. I'm not even green. How do you get that? So...
I like the comment they kind of throw in there too. They throw some pretty good stuff in there.
Like there's I know sometimes
stuff you probably wouldn't even get like until you got like older. If you would have watched that if you're a kid, if it came out like in 1995.
Well, plus it was pretty intelligent sometimes. Some of the things they say because it's one of those things. The show it's appropriate enough for any kid to jump in and watch, but it is kind of at that point where it's you can be an adult DC fan and enjoy it. Because there's that one line, Hawk and Dove, they're all talking about, because, the one's passive, one's passive-aggressive, one's totally super-aggressive. And he's all like, we don't need boundaries, we don't need more war, we just need better education. Then why are all the most well-educated people in the world work at the Pentagon?
I know, that's really funny. And there's even a line, too, with, like Green Arrow and Supergirl one, where, like, Supergirl's like, oh, I have all these nightmares and stuff. Or she's like, she's explaining a dream that sounds, like, horrible, and Green Lantern just he looks over her shoulder and goes, like, that's not what my dreams are about, and it pans the Black Canary.
Yeah. They have a lot of jokes kind of like that. There's an episode...
and it's like, that's one of those ones you probably wouldn't get that like if that show came out in 1995.
There's actually another one. I'm jumping a little bit ahead here. This isn't a huge spoiler, but this is like a much later... I think this is season 2. Flash and Lex Luthor switch bodies. Mm-hmm. And the funny thing about that is the guy that voices Flash is the guy that plays Lex Luthor in Smallville.
Oh, yeah.
So funny thing about that. But anyway, so they switch bodies, And so Lex Luthor, he's kind of like, Flash and Lex Luthor's body, he's all walking around kind of like the Legion of Villains. Like, okay, evil people, so what are we gonna, he's just having trouble fitting in. Yeah. And he at some point, there's this one evil witch chick who's just madly in love with Luthor. She's like, I just need to relax for a second. He's like, oh, here, I'll help you. They go in this room, the door closes. He's like, that is not relaxing. That's all you hear. So, the thing, I know a lot of times we complain about like too much comedy in shows, but too much comedy and superhero stuff.
Well, I think if it's done right, the main thing I think it's like if it's done right and it's not there like every 2 or 3 lines. I think that's the key thing. And
if it's like okay, 1 or 2 they have a few episodes dedicated to comedy, which and that's not.
Well,
that's not the whole show.
TV series, yeah.
Yeah, it's when you have a movie and
because the TV series you can always break away and have an episode where there's just a lighthearted episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Speaking kind of other stuff, it's pretty much superhero-like. I went through and I did a little Ninja Turtles marathon of the movies.
Yeah.
And watched through all those ones again, which they're always really good. Every single time you watch Ninja Turtles, it just like brings you back. They're almost like if you cracked a Mountain Dew open and watched Ninja Turtles.
For me, Mountain Dew.
That's equivalent of like an old person kind of like going like, I just got the Woodstock on DVD. You want to take this LSD?
He's like, I am the Woodstock, baby.
No, Hail Blu-ray Woodstock!
National Anthem, Jimmy! National Anthem!
Just yelling at the TV. Just dancing naked in his house.
And not like that, not just normal, just like rave dancing, but that weird, hippie wavy, kind of like...
They're moving in slow-mo and like...
Yeah, exactly.
God knows what they're going through.
Yeah. But no, I didn't have Mountain Dew till I was probably like in middle school, and that was like
no, because I think parents were like they didn't really just buy you Mountain Dew.
No, they didn't. You had to. It
was almost like the rebel kids drink.
It was kind of like most kids
like here you go, Jimmy.
Allowed to have that.
Here you go, Billy. Here's a root beer. Here's a Sprite.
Pepsi maybe. Yeah. Mountain Dew just seemed kind of like okay. Here's $2. Go and get what you want. You walk in there like
you're not here. Your dad's like it's time for you to be a man. Here's $2. You pick your own drink now.
Oh my God. How the times change. Can I get some tobacco? No, okay.
It's almost like some like old-fashioned, like kind of like almost martial arts.
Rite of passage.
Yeah, it's like by what he chooses, this will decide what kind of kid he will become, or what kind of man he will become.
There almost is that kind of certain rite of passage because there's our 7-Eleven in Twain Harte, and there's always some kid a couple of kids. Just underage kids sitting in front of the store, Jay and Silent bobbing it up, waiting for someone to go in there and buy him cigarettes. Mm-hmm. And it's almost kind of like a rite of passage, kind of like as soon as like there'll be some kid will be there till he's 18. He's all like, but like I got a driver's license, I gotta go now. I have a car, but here, take this. Takes off like an Oakland Raiders hat from 1978 or something. It's been passed down for me from generations.
You can buy cigarettes now with this hat.
Just like one day you'll be your time. He then gets in his car, that just barely runs, gets out of there and leaves. I don't have to wait here anymore if people go buy me cigarettes. So it gets passed down.
And for the kids, like almost like it's like, and I never saw that man again.
Yeah, you never do. You see him all the way through because I've lived in Twain Harte for a while, and you always do see the same couple of kids in there. But then once you reach that age, you don't see them anymore. It's passed on and passed on
to the next generation of children.
I think it's the same hat. I always see a kid with a Oakland Raiders hat. I think it's passed on. I'm not saying shit about Oakland Raiders fans. Some of my best friends are Raiders fans. I'm just saying.
Sometimes you see the Los Angeles Raiders hat.
Yeah. What if it was that? What if it was just the Los Angeles Raiders hat?
That'd be funny.
That'd be a blast from the past.
But I was watching Ninja Turtles, and you know what's kind of funny about that first movie, though? I almost feel like that movie, it's almost kind of saying that, like, because, like, these kids, they're like, pretty much the Shredder is mind-controlling these kids, these, like, ages 8 to, like, 20, and then it's like, what are they giving them? They're giving them, like, they're using, like, you can have video games,
skateboards,
pizza. It almost like, it's like, like, I was thinking about this, like, the movie came out in 1990. The whole point at that time is, like, Nintendo was really big. So this movie kind of have, like, this kind of, like, sort of backside thing where it's just, like, your kids are being taken over by Nintendo and Sony and all these things that, they spend all their time with their Walkmans and their Nintendos and all this stuff.
And there's even that part when, like,
the Japanese are mind-controlling your children, see?
And they're even ninjas.
Yeah, I know, there's even ninjas. So it's like, are these Japanese people, like, they're using, like, video games and all this stuff to mind-control these kids so they can, like, make a fortune?
I never looked that deep into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I'll be honest.
Well, it's like, I was just watching, it's like, because I was just noticing all this kind of stuff.
I remember there's the part where April O'Neil's co-worker and the son stop by, and it's just like the part like he puts on is just this huge 90s headphones. Like, see, look, that's what he does to Normie. He does this to Normie.
He doesn't put on that big of headphones. They're just like regular sized ones.
Oh, I thought they were huge, like 90s.
No, they're not. They're not like DJ headphones or something like that. They're just like those
okay.
regular ones you used to get. The ones that came for free with the like things. Like, I didn't know where he got this thing from. I didn't buy it for him.
Yeah. I remember when I was a kid, like, oh my god, they're addressing real world things. This is so mature. When I was a kid, that seemed like so like this thing's real, man. There's some truth to this art.
Well, it still backs it up though, because the fact like the Ninja Turtles almost show like, well, here's like almost like what a good Japanese person should be. Like, kind of like shows like this.
The rat.
Well, what I mean is like they have all the good values and all that. Oh
well,
stuff.
I guess the rat was trained by a good Japanese dude. That's right. He watched. Then he
even though I don't like the one thing about I like the origin story much better in like the TV show than like in the movie. Because in the movie, it's like, I'm sorry, I know I'm watching Ninja Turtles and stuff, and it's like, you're supposed to like, kind of like, bend reality, man, but like, I like in the TV show, it's like, you know, or like a Robusaki and then like Yoshi, whatever hit the other guy, or pretty much Splinter's original name is. Like, they train together, and then he gets like screwed over or whatever, so then he has to, like, he goes to America because he's been shamed. And then he's down living in the sewer, and he gets caught in like the ooze, as like the turtles do, and he's like, since I was living with the rats, I became the rat, and since they were like the turtles were with me, they became like human-like.
Oh, I thought he was a rat that just got.
No, but in the movie though, they do the thing where it's like, and I don't know why it's the one part of the movie. It's like I don't know if I can believe this.
He's a little puppet rat just punching and kicking.
He's like, when I was a rat, I trained with my master. I studied every one of his moves, and it's like, I don't know. It's like it's a real small thing, but
aside from eating my own shit,
even when I was like 5 years old, I kind of was like, that doesn't make enough sense.
Well, even as a kid, I remember like
the TV show just has a much better origin story, and I know it's like one of those ones like I don't know if they just want to make it simpler or whatever. I mean, not like you could do the other one. It wasn't that hard.
Donald Glover had a great joke, and he said, really, we watched some weird shit as kids. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles sounds like a homeless person's fever dream. They're all named after Renaissance artists, and their master's a rat, and they're all ninjas, you know.
Ninja Turtles just really is one of the most badass things, though.
It is pretty good.
It is. I just love, and it's one of the few things that can have like pop culture references in it, but that kind of like works for it. And I think what makes it work too is because the pop culture references they always have, they're always like classic style. They don't like name off like some like kid show thing. Like they always talk about like an old classic movie that they're always quoting or something that like really like parents would have watched.
They almost seem kind of like I remember something that all those movies had to them. They'd always be happy over the smallest thing. And this is going to sound like a nitpick. I'm not trying to nitpick, but it's like one of those things like they get into, like, they find that huge warehouse in the second one, which is their new hangout. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden they turn on the power. Or no, they actually just flip. They don't even turn on the power, just from the lights. They just look at each other, yeah! They both smile, look at each other, nod, yeah! And they high five, like, very, like...
Free electricity, man!
Yeah. And then, like, it was always something small like that. Or, you know, as soon as they go to, like... They'll go to, like, the fridge. It was almost kind of like Ice Cube in Friday. When he grabs his fridge, yeah! Yeah, it's like whenever they go to, like, the fridge, like, pizza, yeah! Like, nods his head, smiles, and sits down.
Well, I like the part where they take, like, the pizza.
The only one I do not like, I'll be honest, the one I do not like is the third one.
The third one's okay. It's just okay. But I like the part where, like once that kid has been living down there and, like, they're super for a while. And they're like, oh, look at these. Well, there's pizzas on there. He's like, do you like penicillin on your pizza? And they just kind of do like the old-fashioned like military salute, like sending it off.
No, it's a good flick. Those
I know, like the first, like like the first and the second one, I actually like them about the same. I used to say I like the second one more, but by watching them, I'm like, I actually think I like. They're about even because there's things I really like in the first one, and the only I guess the only sad part is like they changed April O'Neil in the second one.
I didn't even notice when you were a kid.
Yeah, it's like the second one's not bad, but I do like the first one more. And then Casey Jones isn't in the second one, which I think that's actually.
He comes back in the third one. He's just there hanging out with a bunch of samurai.
Yeah, and then he's in the fourth one too.
He's in the fourth one, yeah. Which the fourth one, it sort of felt like a semi kind of reboot, but I guess it was.
That's what I thought it was when I was going into it. I thought it was. I was like, oh, this must be like the new kids like version of Ninja Turtles.
Must be
whatever,
based
I'll
off
go
the
watch
Saturday morning cartoon or something. That's what I thought.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh, this is my childhood.
This is the fourth one, yeah.
You know,
because you look on the trophy wall, I'm like, oh, there's Shredder's helmet. There's the time machine thing. There's the ooze can or whatever.
Yeah, it's like there's all this stuff, and then you can't realize it's like, oh, it's just, which I think that was a really smart idea. It's like, oh, they actually just made a continuation.
Yeah.
But it, like, you could jump in on that one if you didn't even see the other ones, and still, like, kind of get the gist. I
feel kind of bad for all the stars in the movie because they advertise kind of like because I went on like because you have the little information bar when you go to like say if you're watching on TV, little info thing pops up. First name's a pop up. Lawrence Fishburne, the chick
Who's like the narrator.
the chick who voiced April O'Neil, and Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith just voiced the cook.
Cook guy. It's just more like, take the cash.
Yeah.
It's like, that's all it really is.
Not even like Chris, Captain America.
Yeah, no, he does
Casey Jones. Though, not even he's up there. It's just like, yeah, okay, you know, these are the real stars, just doing little minor parts right here.
Yeah.
Which the chick who did, what's her name? April O'Neil. She apparently, I guess, she was the chick in whatchamacallit.
It's a famous actress, because I just saw it, but I totally
She's a famous actress. She's the chick from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Sarah Michelle Gellar, yeah.
I always think from Scooby-Doo Stranger Than That. It sounds weird, but that's like the first movie I saw her in.
Yeah.
Probably the only movie I really saw her in other than this one and some other things, but yeah, that's right. It's kind of funny because, like, you watch April O'Neil, it's like, by this point, like, she knows martial arts, which I guess would make sense. If you're hanging out with Ninja Turtles, you're bound to learn martial arts and stuff.
And you're fucking a vigilante, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like a drink, vigilante.
I meant vigilante, but...
I was in mid-breath. The vigilante.
Vigilante.
It's kind of the rebel drink, the one that the law's always after.
With Mountain Dew.
But she just get weird, because sometimes, like, I picture her, she's, like, fighting at the end, and you're just, like, I just picture, like, April O'Neil from, like, the live-action ones, I'm like, it's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can picture
And
this.
she's got younger.
Yeah, she got younger and her hair got straighter.
Which is fine, too, yeah.
Which is fine. I do think she should have kept the original hair. I mean, I know, like, that movie's...
Didn't she just have her hair in a bun in the sequel?
No, it's like, it really is the same hair that Casey Jones actually has, sort of, but, like, different. They both have, like, they have a little bit shorter bangs, and then, like, almost, like... Casey Jones has more of a mullet, while she has more, like, it just, like, it comes down, but they both have, like, almost the same... But they really have, like, the same haircut. They must, like... Yeah. I don't know, it's kind of weird. But I kind of like how April O'Neil just kind of, like, she had, like, really, like... the late 80s, 90s haircut. Kind of like, what's her name?
Christina Ricci?
No, not Christina Ricci. She doesn't have that hair. She has straight hair.
I'm thinking of the
No, I'm talking about in, like, the old, like, Ninja Turtles.
Oh, okay.
More like, what's her name? Pretty Woman.
Julia Roberts?
Yeah, Julia Roberts. She always had, like, Julia Roberts hair. That's just kind of like...
fluffy kind of hair.
Yeah. And then she has kind of straight hair. Seems like a really, like, nitpick thing, but it's like, that's how you can tell the times have changed.
No, there's different art styles that come to the character.
Well, it's just because it's like 2005, the movie came out, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Or 6. No, it's 2005.
It had to be, I think it was 06 or 07, because...
I remember driving to the movie theater.
I was out of college, so I was out of high school, so I want to say it was 06 or 07.
Oh, was it really that far along?
Yeah.
I thought it was older than that. Huh. I'll be damned.
Yep.
But that was a good one, though. I like that one.
I do enjoy that movie.
It's actually pretty good. I mean,
curious to see where they go with the new one, the Michael Bay.
The only downfall is I feel like they could never make it like a classic Ninja Turtle style one of puppets or anything like that again.
Nah.
Because people I think the average Joe, I think that's the main reason.
I'm guessing it's going to be CG, the next one.
Yeah, the Ninja Turtles. I mean, if they made a live action one, the Ninja Turtles would be all CG. For a fact, they'd be that. Which is, it's kind of sad. It's just like we live in this kind of age where people just can't accept a lot of things anymore. It's like they can't accept slow zombies. They can't
Muppets can't get any work anymore.
It's like they can't accept, like, Muppets. They can't accept, like, people in suits. All these, like, small things.
Well, you still get that in a lot of, like, I guess sort of I'm not saying this to be insulting, kind of like B level movies. A lot of, like, Netflix kind of and, like, Redbox type movies.
Yeah, you might.
Video on demand stuff.
You might still.
John dies at the end. There was some CG stuff, but there was also some, like, blatant puppet stuff and guys in makeup.
That's cool. Because, like, that's really what makes a real movie, in my opinion. Like, CG
can work.
CG can work, and I think there's a time and a place for it. But it always looks fake. Where, like, at least a puppet never looks. It's like, at least that's a real object.
I guess in the next Thor movie, the bad guys there's probably be some big CG monster at some point. But all the bad guys are actually look like dudes in makeup and stuff like that.
That's cool. It looks a lot better. No matter what, even though CG's gotten better, you can still always say that's CG.
Yep.
So that's the only thing. But yeah. No good thing there was those soda shacks at 7-Eleven. Boy, was that ever a trip to try to get those. I got some for you guys, but then you guys came in with your own. Like, oh, wow, never mind. Well, yeah, we spent forever. We spent like a couple of days just trying to find soda shacks. We stopped by every single shop just to realize that they only sell them at 7-Eleven.
Yeah, which just surprised me. I don't know, but anyway.
But they're so fucking good.
And plus, there's somebody hiding a stash of them. There's a bunch behind some Arnold Palmers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they put a few Arnold Palmers in front. And then I pulled one or two back just because I saw like a little bit of his face screaming.
You're like, there's something back there.
Yeah.
Something has survived.
Yeah, I saw because the orange cream one, he has the face where he's screaming. I'm just going to see. Because I knew you were looking for the orange cream one, so I was going to try and surprise you.
I'm trying to try them all. I just need to try the strawberry one. That's the next one. So, till then.
Until then.
those soda shacks must be found. They're still difficult to find. Like, whenever I go there, it's always like there's only a couple of them left.
Yeah, I think everybody's... I thought everyone was just kind of rolling their eyes and joking about it.
But apparently they're popular.
Apparently they are, yeah.
So, that's always a good thing.
Mm-hmm. I'm surprised it's only 7-Eleven. Maybe it might expand.
You never know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got a brand new Drunk Batman and Robin up. Episode 6. You can check it out at both YouTube, Newgrounds, and Vimeo for the people that go to Vimeo.
Yeah, it's kind of
Vimeo is really the nicest site. It's the nicest fucking site out there for videos. But nobody goes on that site except for people that put their shit up there anyways.
I know, and a lot of times you don't even really go up there under the Vimeo to look at other people's stuff. You just go up there to post your stuff. Maybe I'm just being.
Well, it's one place is just like
just by force of habit, you go straight to YouTube.
It's so like why would you wouldn't really go to Vimeo even though it's a much nicer site. They do a fantastic job there, but I always just feel though, and it's kind of like with like this. I mean, there's probably about like 50 like uploading video sites if you looked out there, but it's like. Sadly enough, you kind of have to go like, well, everybody goes to YouTube. You got to put it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Can't put it on these like. I mean, who's gonna see them on some of those other ones? I mean.
Well, it's kind of weird because YouTube. I think last time I looked at YouTube, we're up to 45 views or 40 views on YouTube. I didn't even check Vimeo, and Newgrounds were already at 3,000. So I was like,
it's at 3,000. Yeah, Newgrounds on the other hand though always goes up really fast.
Yeah.
Or it goes up faster, even though you can't.
It goes up fairly fast. I think it depends because I remember when we uploaded like Drunk Batman, like I think when we uploaded 3 of them at the same time.
Yeah, I learned that never do that again. Don't
space them out.
Yeah, if you're uploading on Newgrounds, never upload all your stuff, transferring it from like YouTube. Spread it out over time because I think like it just got kind of like some of like episodes 4 and 5 I think got pushed, or not 4 and 5, but 3 and 4 got pushed to the side.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got a new Drunk Batman up. You can just find it at oldmanorange.com. That's the easiest way to find it.
And I said this last week, but in case you guys weren't here last week, I got Grit issue 2 completely done, 100% done. It is on Facebook, my personal Facebook. It's on the Old Man Orange Facebook. Grit has its own Facebook, and you can find links to all those at oldmanorange.com. I got to spread it more around to some other sites. I'm still trying to work out the bugs and figure out a proper way to market it. Because right now I'm well aware that I'm at the point where I'm just chucking a bottle into an ocean hoping someone sees it. So
yeah, well, because that's the only thing I think about comics though. It's like there's not an easy enough site that like advertise it to. And as there is like videos and music. And
most of them are kind of like a DeviantArt type site. So I'm trying to find something a little more legitimate. And at the same time, I mean, I'll be honest, I like my artwork. It's not amazing. I think it works. It gets the point across. But I think the sites I want to go to, I think you have to be more accepted into that if you reach a certain point. But we'll see what happens. So I'm still trying to iron that out. If you like what we do, check out Drunk Batman, check out Grit, let us know what you think.
We got a new email from Jacob Sampson.
Oh, right on.
He says, "Hi guys, it's Jacob again. Just started creating a new comic. I'll type part of the first page out, and I want you to read this in your 90s voice. So here we go. Tom was just an ordinary father who worked with an ordinary job until one day Tom was walking back to his office after lunch break when a random pile of radioactive plasma fell from the sky. Oh no! Hospitalizing him for a month. Holy shit! When Tom woke up, he wasn't so ordinary now. He had superpowers! Whoa! Here's where we come into the 7-Eleven tie-in. Come on down to get Tom's superpowered flavor 7-Eleven, or Slurpee, at the old 7-Eleven. Now he's able to create lightning and fight with it. He's able to have super hand-to-hand combat. He's also able to teleport and bend time. Sexy. Now I'll just tell you I based his superpowers off Naruto's mention. I wish I knew who this was. I watched like the first season in Japanese. If you want to know the entire story on your podcast, wait, I'm drawing a blank now. Sometimes reading off a phone is. Have you ever noticed that reading off a phone is never the easiest?
Yeah.
If you want to know the entire story on your podcast with spoilers and all that kind of stuff, thanks for reading it. As always, Jacob Sampson.
Good to hear from you.
I'm glad to hear there's people out there doing creative things. That's the key thing in life. If you want to do something, just create it and go with it.
Even if you like it and don't let the haters bring it down.
Don't let anybody else tell you what to do. You do whatever you want and fuck anybody else. It's art. You're not building somebody's deck.
Yeah.
For them, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's how I kind of look at it, You could criticize. If somebody came to your house and said, like, okay, I'm going to remodel your bathroom, and you came in there, like, well, what the fuck, dude? Like, the pipe's leaking, and this wasn't the tile I chose, and this...
When you get all like, fuck you and this free shit you post.
But yeah, but it's like, literally, it's like, once like, nobody was paying you for this fucking video. You know what I mean? It's like, you made this, you wanted to do this, so you do it.
Yeah.
That's the key thing, though. Is you fucking do it, and you just keep doing it. It's always just gonna keep getting better, no matter what.
Exactly. The more you do it, the better it's gonna get.
Yeah. You know what? If you don't like it, then who the fuck cares?
We're clearly narrowing this down to a few people, then chances are they ain't gonna listen to this, but...
No, because they're little bitches anyways.
Yeah, we got some hate on Newgrounds a little bit ago, but whatever.
But I noticed that with, like, the more views you get, the more hate you get, apparently.
Well, it's one of those things. I'm not one of those people that says, like, you gotta create in order to have your opinion matter. I'm not one of those people. It's just one of those things. Some people, it seems kind of like, this thing fucking sucks. Okay, you don't gotta like it. No, let me write up this long, drawn out, like... comment explaining why it sucks in bad grammar.
Why I don't like you and why that, you know, yeah, it's just like...
All right, tell me this though. What's sadder, the fact that we made this or the fact someone took that much time to write this shit out?
I think that's what makes it really sad, is that you go to that much trouble. Like, really, I always, whenever you see a comment on anybody's page where it just says, like, I mean, it's like primal as ever, just like, lame or stupid or I don't like... And they give it like 1 star. I almost give that guy more credit than the person who like decides they're gonna like, I'm gonna take some time out of my day and
in all honesty,
spend 20 minutes to like.
There are some people who put like a, not really my thing. Good job on this part and that part. I'll fully say like our animation, it's very scratchy. Mm-hmm. Artwork could look a lot better. We're working on that. Yeah, but we got a few things. We got like one guy was all saying some shit like, he was saying something like. If you guys need to have you guys have the technology, you guys need to do better and this and that, and you got it's like, dude, we don't have like an animation team. We can't make it look like Ego Raptor. I mean, he does it all himself. He does it all himself, but he's had practice. Like we've been doing this for a year.
Yeah, I know. That's what I feel like. It's like we haven't been doing it for very long. But,
we've done it for a year, and I think I mean, yeah, it's scratchy, but we're more going for content than anything else. If the content you don't like it, okay, fine, whatever.
I didn't know where it's scratchy at either, too. It's like, tell me where the fuck it's scratchy at.
I guess I was running out of adjectives, so I just was scratchy.
It's like scratchy is like if we're doing it like the old-fashioned way and we just had a bunch of dust in the room or something.
I meant it more in the sense of like, you know, it's pretty simplistic. Mm-hmm. The artwork looks kind of scratchy in a sense. The artwork looks it's pretty bare bones. We're working on it. We're more focusing on content, but each season we try and make it a little bit more. We try and top ourselves a little bit each episode, so we'll see what happens. Yeah,
but till then, you know... Check out oldmanorange.com, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Goodbye.